wants 200, baby.
You ready to get back to the trading action?
You aim, you shoot, and make money.
It's going to be a great day. You guys know where you're at.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Super pumped to get going here. We got Mitch doing a little bit of, he's got a little house repair going on there. So we're going to be joined with our buddies Kevin just in a bit, doing some dad duty. Till then, you got to hear me rant about why we continue to go up. If you haven't heard it before, they're still short. But there is some updates on the positioning data that I think will be interesting to go over in the morning. So, as always, a really good day to be a bull. Not so much a good day to be a bear. That's why we were able to name it what we did. Now, let's just pop into this and we'll grab this, give Kevin this minute to set up there. But what I want to talk about, like we do every Monday morning, it's a good time to take a look at the positioning data, see where the people who are wrong all the time, where do they live, right? What's going on? So S&P 500, again, we are always focused on the red line right here, right? If the red line is above this kind of zero area, it means the positioning is net long. You can see it's generally speaking net long at or near a top and very net short at or near a bottom because they are just wrong all the time. Still short, not as short. They're covering a little bit into this rally, but not too much. So still a big net short position from everybody. And I've been saying it all the way since the lows here. As long as these guys are short, I'm going to be buying stocks. Well, it's interesting though. If you go into the NASDAQ, I'm going to buy these guys. I'm going to do that today. But look at this. So if we zoom in here on the Qs, this is where things get really interesting. So I've been talking for ages. It's been, for me, the easiest trade in a long time to talk about is, I'll pull that up, is talking about how they are long the Qs and they are short the Russell against the Qs. So long big cap tech, short everything else. So what we're looking to see is kind of a reversion of that. Right? If small cap tech or small cap is moving higher and big cap tech is not, then these guys are wrong and they're losing money. And I've talked about all the ways they have to get liquidated, either forcefully by their brokers or slowly over time by the fact that if you're underperforming and you are a large institution, people will take their money and they will go to someone else who hasn't been short one of the strongest bull markets in history. I know if someone was managing my money and they were short right now, I would fire them. So I think that's a lot of what's happening. And look at this right here. So they took this, again, we're talking about the red line. The more elevated this red line, the more they are kind of long on leverage. And look at the huge collapse we had here from being net short like 50,000 contracts or net long 50,000 down to 15. So this trade, again, if you were here, the table was being pounded that they are either forcefully or otherwise unwinding these trades. There will be some explosion that we'll hear about in some sort of hedge fund in the future, and that's exactly what happened. It very sharply crashed down and reverted that trade. So got out of tons and tons of their net longs on the NASDAQ. To me, that's hugely bullish for the NASDAQ, right? These guys are always wrong. They're pretty much always wrong. So I want to take the other side of them. So the fact that they're selling now, that makes it very interesting here. Now, if we go take a look at the IWM, the question is, did they cover their Russell short? And yes, a little bit. We're no longer, I wouldn't call these anymore extreme short readings anymore. They're still very short. They're still short 60,000 contracts on something that's grinding higher. So still short, still losing money, but not hugely net short anymore. So it feels like this trade has unwinded quite a bit. So it might be one of those things that, hey, we're not getting this kind of huge move anymore, right? This unwind, maybe at least forcefully, it might be over for just a little bit. Kevin, I'm going to pull you in. I know you're fighting back and forth. Let's see if we can get things working.
Hey,
man.
good morning.
What's going on?
Mr. Noss? How are you this Monday morning? How you feeling?
Oh, I'm doing good. You can probably hear my voice isn't the greatest, but We'll figure that out. I see in your chats you don't have a scene, but I'm just
Oh,
wondering
it's
what
probably
happens if I just
because I
click on the
haven't
mid.
been on it like Monday morning yet. So it could be, yeah, could be the Monday
Oh yeah,
morning thing. We'll figure it out. Mr.
we'll
Angelo
figure
in
it out.
here. Good morning, Steph, James,
Oh,
Alex.
good weekend.
See, yeah, it was a good weekend. This morning been scrambling a little bit, doing the daddy bus route as I mentioned to you. But I had you
Hmm.
on in the car, was watching some of your YouTube videos, so the kids got to
Oh,
listen in.
cool.
5 and 3-year-old, they thought your voice
Oh,
was
nice.
very soothing. The
Oh,
Rock,
okay, I'll
yeah,
take it.
the Rocky Market was the one I watched, your latest
Hmm.
one, and then the Bumpy Road Ahead. Yeah,
Yeah,
it was a good video.
I
I liked it.
yeah, I thank you. I appreciate that, and I do think that's what's going on here. Is if you look at the seasonality, that was another thing I was going to bring up here. Is we're entering this seasonally choppy period, and
Mhm.
not a huge seasonality guy, not a big September's down a lot, therefore just short it. Like that doesn't make any sense to me. But there is something to be said about the election stuff, right? And as a Canadian without a dog in the fight, I always feel the need to say that every time I talk about U.S. politics because you guys are so mad at each other down there all the time. Yeah, this is what I wanted to grab. Yeah,
Oh,
here's what's Kevin's talking about there.
yeah, Steph's bringing up Octo. Speaking of coins, I know you got your fart coin, but there's
I
speculation
know.
on this world coin right now. Yeah, this
Yes, and that's
Octo
Octo,
nuts. Yeah, yeah.
and that's all they're doing is YOLOing WorldCoin.
There was like a private placement with some investors. I think 250 million there, and then yeah, they got that world coin going on.
That seems like a short. I don't know. I wouldn't be brave enough to do it, but that seems like this is going back to $5 pretty soon.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I mean, that's you just got to be careful because we got James. He got in front of it a little too early with some max loss
oof,
there.
yeah.
But yeah, you just gotta the sizing and it pre-markets a challenge in and of itself. It was something actually I was thinking about this morning, Michael. I was wondering, like your systems, do any of them trade at pre-market at all, or mainly just market hours?
Not yet. The problem with that I'd really need to figure out is to make sure there is volume requirements in
Yeah.
pre-market, and that's going to be a little bit harder. For me, I'm doing a lot of the idea is I'm taking the second day. I'm letting all this craziness work out on day one, and I'm trading on day two when most people
I see.
forget. I like your kind of like the idea behind your hangover, but I want to, especially
Yeah.
because we know starting next year it's going to be a 24-hour market. It's going to be 24/5 starting next year. So I got to start thinking about that. But yeah, volume becomes a real problem here.
Yeah, it's one thing I was discussing with some traders why we see sometimes these like cleaner moves in pre-market, and you'll have definitely more knowledge on this than me, but my
Yeah.
own speculation is a lot of the high frequency trading perhaps doesn't turn on in
Yes.
pre-market. Yeah, is that do you
Yep.
think that's true?
That's
And that's why you get the
exactly
continuation?
right.
Yeah.
There's no large institution or fund or even really market makers that are playing this pre-market game. So this is all pure retail. So when it comes to pure retail, you get that emotion, and
Mhm.
then with the emotion, you generally get the clean chart. So that's more of yeah. I think you're 100% bang on that one.
Yeah, because once they turn those on market hours, you get a lot more. They're going for pennies, right? And
Yeah.
so it's not just straight up, straight down like we're seeing
Yeah, and
in
that's what a
pre-market.
lot of people don't need to understand about like, I know a bunch of market makers. I call a bunch of them friends. Don't hate me. Like I've been drinking with them. They're not they're they don't care about any of these stocks. So they're kind of like us where they're trying as best they can to be market neutral, and they are forced to buy when the stock is selling off, and they're forced to short when the stock is taking off. It's just the way they have to do it. And they're very much trying. They're using options or using whatever they can to try to, they're trying to always be market neutral. They never want to take a position. They're not betting
Yeah.
that a stock's going up or going down. That's not their game. Their game is that They have to take the other side of everyone's trade if there's no one there to do it. That's just kind of the contract they sign. And then on the other side of it, they're just trying to always be neutral and, like you said, make a penny. They're just trying to make like a half a penny here or there. They're not coming for you. They don't care about you. They're not trying to short your stock. It's like the whole, I remember in the GameStop saga, that was the whole mantra, is that Citadel is hoping that GameStop goes down. It's like, no, they want you guys to trade GameStop a whole lot, because
You're
every
the
time,
liquidity. Yes.
yeah,
Yeah.
every time you trade, if you really want, I always say this, if you really hate Citadel and you really want to stick it to them, you would dollar cost average into an index fund and never trade. Then they wouldn't make any money, right? If because they make money the more you trade, and specifically the more you use like market orders and things like that. That's where they make their money from. They're going to make a bunch of money from this when it opens, but only when it opens, because there's going to be a bunch of people on Robinhood, and they're going to be hitting the market buy and hitting the market sell button. And then what they're going to do is they take that order and then they sell it to other people who just front run by a penny here or there, right? They don't, and net neutral. They're not betting this thing goes up today. They're not betting it go down today. They're just churning out over time. Right?
Yeah, yeah. When I say like they're hunting liquidity, sometimes I'll say that it just feels that way, and it's really just because we know where the liquidity zones are, and so naturally
Right.
they kind of gravitate towards those areas, anyways.
Yeah, and I always say this, right? If you, they're not going after your stop loss order because they can't see it. And it's one of those things I always rank how probable a conspiracy theory is by how many people would have to know about it and have it not come out. So you're talking every market maker that has existed or has ever existed or will ever exist. They would all have to be in on it, even the guys who have left the industry and retired by now. But if, right, things like high of days, low of days, they know that's where a lot of people are
Yeah,
going to put their stop loss. So yeah, of course, if they're looking for liquidity, they're going to try to, and it's close to the high of the day, they are going to send a market order or something to try to push it through the high of the day and then take the other side of that. Also, whole numbers you'll see quite often, because you
yeah,
got to imagine most investors, they're not putting a stop loss order at $13.35, right? They're putting in like 13 or 13 and a half or 14 or something like that. So this is the whole reason why whole numbers work, is because they're not coming for you, but they know that there's probably a whole bunch of people bucketed and basketed around these certain prices, so that they're going to go for them. Plus,
there's
your 100 shares isn't going to matter anyway, right? They need
exactly.
tons.
There's so much wisdom in putting your orders essentially where you would put your stops, rather than putting the stops at the whole dollar. Set your order there. That way, you're getting in with the market makers, like Michael's saying, is they're taking the positions on the other side of that, and just having the patience, ultimately, to do that.
Well, and I used to. So again, I started prop trading before there was these computerized systems. Way back when I was in university, I would go to class and then I would run down to the prop shop that was there. And that was one of the games we would play, is that you would see, because back then there wasn't refreshing orders and all this. Like, I don't put really any stake in the level 2 anymore. But back then, if there was somebody who was selling like 100,000 shares, they would put out 100,000 shares on the ask, and everyone would see it. And the game would be, you would watch that 100 shares get chewed up to near zero, and then you would punch it with like 4,000 shares right then, and then you would instantly start offering out. So you would go, so say stock's moving up, it's a strong stock, it's in the news that day, it's moving up to $10. You see a big offer there. You see it, go from 100,000 to 90,000 to 80,000 to, right? And when it gets to like 20, 30,000, you'd punch in with 1,000 shares, and then you'd immediately putting out limit orders at 10:01, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And because you would know there's a whole bunch of stop orders that if it got through 10, it would probably quickly shoot up to 10:10 and then do whatever it wants on the day. But you think
Yeah.
about it, if you do that with 2, 3,000 shares, and you're bidding all the way, or you're offering, you're all the way up. So as it rockets up to 10:10, you're selling. It's great, right? It's perfect. So yeah, and again, it's a game we used to play. It's gone for us now, but it's definitely something the
Very
HFT still do.
interesting conversation. The spoofing orders, like why is that? I used to be scared to see like level two. Oh, you got all these, bids are asked at a certain price if I'm on one side or the other. But now, like I see them, and it almost seems intentional. Okay, these orders are popping up when they could just hide those orders, right? They could hide those orders. So I don't know. There's some intentionality to it. If I'm short
Yes.
on a play, and it's like you see the liquidity now. And if you're short on something like Octo, and let's say this ticker's up 1,000% like this morning, and you see a bunch of orders popping up on the bid, sometimes it almost feels like they're trying to trap some longs like that see that, and they're like, oh, I
They
want to get
do.
involved with this. All these orders
And,
popping up. But as a short, I see like, oh, there's liquidity. There's a couple different sides of it.
well, and it's funny because it's one of those things that's like very highly illegal, but you never see anybody get in trouble forever. But if you're watching the level two, you can see it. You can see them spoof orders, and you would get kicked out of our firm if you did it, but there'd be guys who would try it. So they would buy, a pretty illiquid stock, and then, say they had $1 million worth of buying power. Well, they would put maybe, 5, 10 grand into this stock that was really liquid, and then they would start painting the tape, as we call it, right? So they would put out
Yeah.
big bids, and then they would start aggressively buying the offer with big bids. So then the hope is that people would look at it and say, "Oh, look, there's a giant bid here, and people are buying the offer on this stock, and it just started moving, and they're almost causing their own volume spike on it." And the hope is that they would get a whole bunch of people to kind of chase in after them, and they would be selling to that. Yeah, and again, these games are just
These games. That's why I like level
always a case
two.
of it.
I stopped even. I don't know. I stopped focusing on it too much. Like times of sales is actually this is objective data. Times of sales. I mean,
Yeah,
they can't just spoof and orders on
right.
that. But level two, it's not always what you see. Could be smoke and mirrors there.
Yeah, the only thing the level two to keep in mind is that they're never going to put through like their full order. It will always be split, but you can kind of see that, right? So if I'm
Hmm.
filling 100,000 share orders, you're not going to see just 100,000 go through on the tape. You're going to see, right, 1,000, 1,000, 1,000, 1,000. Like I'm going to split that up because I'm not paying commissions per trade. I'm paying commissions on the entire order, and
Right.
it's a huge idea in which the again, they're games to be played, and the problem is now you have robots watching the level two, looking for patterns, and then they're going to build other robots to try to play games with those first robots. And yeah, this is why you see most traders that I met when the market got more into HFTs, they just zoomed out a bit and just said, I'm not playing that game. So I'm not
Hmm.
going to focus on, I'm not going to buy a stock and put a stop 10 cents away. I'm not going to scalp like this anymore and there's a lot of people that I know that just had to leave the game entirely because that was all they knew how to do was they just scalped. They just
Yeah, I
scalped
noticed
over and over
you
again.
too with I think it was LUMN because
Yeah.
I took that trade too. Like your stop is very wide, so you're sizing down and giving it. It was just because of
Yep.
the stops there. But yeah, guys, we got about
Yeah.
10 minutes till the market opens. So what are you looking at this morning, Mister Noss?
Yeah, let's
You
go
got a
around the
lot going
horn. That
on.
was a good chat. I just want to first go to the SPY, right? We're sitting on pre-market highs. Nice big bounce from yesterday here. And as always, I like to look at the ES in the morning on especially after the weekend just because there's so much more action that took place. And you can see we really haven't done anything. So we gapped up right off the jump here, and then we've just kind of consolidating sideways on the daily chart. Right, just looks like we're back up near highs. We did this. This candle was just insane, big top, big bottom, but really didn't go anywhere. And then all of a sudden, now it looks like we're challenging this, which is our all-time high before. So we need to check that one out as well. For what I'm watching, I've got a pretty huge list. Open,
Same. Yeah.
obviously,
Yeah.
I don't want to talk too much about open because I'm still in it from the swing side of things. But you can see it's triggering here from shorting from VWAP to VWAP. I'm looking at that. But yeah, as I
There's a
scroll,
big
this is
room
my
out
whole
there
list.
that thinks that there's going to be a blow off top here. We might hit $10 on open before it starts turning around.
I'm with them. I
Yeah,
that's what I'm looking for. I figure a nice solid 10 number is going to be good
there's
for a lot of those.
there's a very convinced shorts on this, and there's so much liquidity here that they could push that one up. But
Well,
a
yeah,
lot of tickers this morning to look at, guys.
yeah, it looks like they haven't covered the shorts here on open, and that's what I'm after, right? Still
Mhm.
25% of the. As soon as this ticks down, like sub 20, regardless of price, I'm out of the position
And
there.
Friday's move, I mean, it almost they just accumulate more shorts. I mean, it spikes up
Hmm.
out of the open, goes green to red,
Yep.
bounces right off the previous close. But yeah, I mean, it's just still holding up. Looks like still accumulating shorts there. We got RAPP is an interesting ticker. They
Over here.
passed what phase 2 trials, I believe. Yeah, let me pull that up. RAPP over here. They're up from 17 up to about $40 right now.
Ooh, wow.
Traders, yeah, yeah. There's a few like that this morning. The
What
shares
phase two for what?
they announced the phase 2A clinical trial of their drug RAP 219 in patients with drug-resistant focal onset seizures.
I
It met
see.
its primary endpoint.
Yeah, I don't know too much about biotech stuff, but a buddy of mine who does, who's like an actual like biotech scientist, he says always look for like the ones that are solving like the rarest possible disease. Those are the ones that
Huh,
just
interesting. Well,
rocket.
speaking of another rare disease this morning, we do have glioblastoma was is a kind of a cancer that I got a buddy's dad who's got that unfortunately right now. And there's just not too many cures for that. There was ticker this morning that was popping up. Let me find that one. It was XAIR. XAIR is up right now.
Oh yeah, Tack is talking about that in chat here. XAIR. Oh yeah, that's another one. 45%
So
gain there.
there's before the market opens, guys. There's a few plays as well. I want to look at. I'm looking for predictable patterns. Like I see the octos, but I'm gonna kick back. As I told Steph, I'm kicking back with the popcorn on octo right now. I don't, stepping in front of that's clearly dangerous.
Hmm.
So what are some predictable plays that from last week I can take and trade this week? Well, one is THAR is a play that I want you guys to look at the pattern that it developed last week, because there's another ticker popping up this morning that's looking eerily similar to it. THAR, kind of a, what would you say, head and shoulderish pattern here, looking
Yep.
at the, yeah.
I
So
see it.
there's another ticker this morning, IPDN, that's pretty
Mhm.
much doing the THAR move, IPDN. They were kind of working together. We see a lot of this sympathy in the small cap plays. This is hangover-ish, but I'd be looking more for a pop IPDN to see before the next leg back down. Want to see maybe a short against this $8 IPDN, looking for a pop there.
If it
Of
helps, the the 2-day VWAP on that is
Oh man.
725. So I just
Okay.
pop
Yep.
back real quick. So this is
Yep.
what I'm looking at for I think the way I'm dealing with some of your hangover play, and I'd like some feedback on this. But you had the initial move, right? It pops up, and then all of a sudden you notice on this day. So the yellow line is the 2-day VWAP. We
Yep.
pop into yesterday's VWAP and we fail. Right here, this is the opening kind of 30-minute candle, and then on Friday we pop into the opening. That VWAP was sitting right there at 850, and then it fails. So I'm thinking on the way back down, and if you look at THAR, you saw a lot of the same thing, where right
Yep.
here, that's the 2-day VWAP from the prior day, and it falls apart. This one, it gets through a little bit, and then it fails. I'm thinking this might be the move, and not because it's a magic line or anything, but just more because it's a good way to quantify where everybody exists kind of in this
Yeah.
stock, right?
Yeah. So would you play the stop there, right? Like over under ish that 2-day VWAP?
Yeah, and then another way to look at it, right? You could anchor a view out from the high. But yeah, the idea is that if you were, so say you were someone who was buying the IPDN dip Friday, right? On average, you're going to be sitting somewhere around, obviously not an exact place, but somewhere around 725. So, right, that would be the thing is I need to kind of systematize what an entry looks like. Do we
Yeah.
pop through 725 and fail, or what does that look like? But that to me makes the most sense, and a way to stay out of them when they're making kind of second moves like this is as soon as this one broke the VWAP from this day, you can see right here, that's where it rocketed. And then it didn't really fall apart until it couldn't get above that for the day. So that would be kind of
Yep.
what I look for is, hey, give me at least an opening range where we weren't able to take that, and then maybe take an opening range breakdown or something like that after that, or however you want to get into it. Because I've just been flabbergasted by some of these moves that just go all like this
Oh
one
well,
all day, just tanks right
that's
for
how
all
they are.
day.
That's how. I mean, that you'd be amazed. I mean, there's thousands, millions of these charts. PAPL is another one. Take a look at the 2-day VWAP on PAPL.
PayPal, a real one.
No, yeah. I always think
Oh
this is
no,
PayPal
that's
too,
a
but
different
it's
one.
not. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Well, and then yeah,
PAPL is
look
a
at
decent one.
right on the pre-markets. That's
Yeah,
724 again, and it looks like we got right there in the pre-market before it fell apart. So, yeah, these are interesting. And just
and then
FYI for people, if you don't want to build your own indicator, you can always just if you click on it's under this drawing tool, TrendSpider has it, TradingView has it. If you just click on that, and you can actually just draw your own. So right there, that purple line, and then you could actually just set alerts for these things. So if it ends up being a way that you want to that'd be a way to semi-systematize it, is go through and do the scanning that you're seeing Kevin do on the open. If you're interested, right, you anchor those view apps and then just set a bunch of alerts. And again, now you're just waiting for your alerts to come through before you place a trade.
and then INHD is another one I'm looking at for potential backside play as well. INHD. This one's lowerish flow. It's a size of smaller on it.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
971 is where it's sitting right now. Of course, these numbers will change as the market opens and more volume comes through.
but yeah, those are the backside plays I'm looking at, and otherwise gonna kick back and see what some of these other plays give us. I know HOUR was a play in small cap land, guys, too, on Friday, and that's actually popping
Mhm.
up this morning too. So keep HOUR on your watch list. It was the leading play on Friday. Friday's a lot of rooms. They don't, at least a lot of long biased chat rooms. They kind of take the day off. But as a short seller, I love that because that you tend to get more unwindy kind of plays on Friday.
Yeah.
So for backside plays, they tend to work very well. But yeah, QS, as Josh mentioned, is up this morning
Ooh,
as well. Yeah,
wow. Up big
good play. Good there,
one
Josh.
day.
Good old
Yeah.
quantum, $10 round level two. We'll see what it's going to do up here over that 10. But about a
Yes.
minute left, guys. Stay disciplined.
Yes. So I want to watch just the SPY off the open, see what this kind of, because we're sitting right at the pre-market high, see what the opening drive is there. So far, again, everything gapping up. Q's up 0.5%, IWM up 0.5%, RSP, Dow, right? Pretty much everything is up pretty big. ARC up over 1% in the pre-market. So looking like a pretty good day for a lot of places out there.
Certainly volatility out here as Octo's hitting new highs, $20. Mr. Noss, 145 close, and we're at $20 right now. Goodness. Boring is oftentimes profitable, traders. So that's why I'm going to look at those backside plays too to start some positions. PAPL, INH, IPDN, and Soggy P we can't forget about either. Actually had a red day on Friday.
Well, and
good
again,
old
this is
Soggy
one
P.
thing that I love about your particular trading style and ideas. It kind of gels a lot with mine, which is I'll let I guess the younger people or degens or whatever is saying nice or not, they can trade Octo. I know one thing for sure. I am not trading Octo today. But I might trade Octo tomorrow. I might trade Octo the day after. I might be one of these times in which I can do that. And that's how I've just built my systems, is saying, listen, you guys deal with day one when it's crazy. I'll do the boring stuff, but it just becomes more, I hate the word predictable, but it's kind of what it's after, right? It's just it's
Well, it's
simple.
it's about like back testing journaling. I know you stress that a lot, and you got to. I know with my back testing, like I don't do as well, on the octos day
Mhm.
one. So It's
Well,
better,
it's
even though I want to personally, emotionally, I want to be there and trade it. The back testing doesn't uh, say that it's going to be profitable for me.
well, yeah. When I built my view apps trade strategy, that was something that I noticed is that yeah, it doesn't work as well. I actually got one trade right away. This CLS Celestica. I just heard
Hmm.
that popped through right off the open. Again, this is just looking for a little bit of a short after this kind of topping tail that happened here on Friday. This is a Bollinger Band strategy that I'm playing a little bit with. So just taking a look here at what the first 2 minute action is. And to be honest, I haven't even looked to see what we have for. I don't think we have much. What we have for numbers today.
I'm going to try INHD guys against 1020 ish for just a
September.
slow backside short.
It's the 8th. Man, I didn't even know what day it was. Yeah, nothing. So again, these are color coded. So yellow means just don't even worry about it, and then orange is maybe worry about it a little bit. Red is definitely worry about it, and there's nothing at all to focus on
Okay.
today. Down tick right off the open here for the IWM. So just be careful for your longs.
And then RAPP, very interesting, guys. I mean, it had the positive phase 2A trials. We're up, what, 100%, 20 to 40, 63 or so. So, I mean, if we have a euphoric move out of the gates, RAPP, I will be looking, for that to profit take some.
That's another way that I'm looking to potentially trade small caps is just to say, look for stocks that don't make a new pre-market high. That to me is a sign that kind of the same thing. What I'm trying to communicate to the bot when I'm trying to build this bot is again I always want it to be psychologically sound. I basically just want to trade other people's disappointment of they're hyped up that in the pre-market they're watching these things and they look like they're going to be up huge, and then when those things don't materialize, that right I want to take the other side of those trades and say right sorry I'll drink your tears just a little bit there.
So kind of you.
Zero sum game, so I just want to make sure that I'm part of that.
All right, guys. XAIR, Steph brought up. It's a good alert here. XAIR's at 330 right now. I'm seeing a little bit of a ceiling up towards 350 to 4. It's popping up there again. That's the glioblastoma play that they're getting FDA fast track designation, I believe. So I'm gonna wait for 350-ish to 4.
I shorted that hour. That's weird.
Oh, okay. The bot took it.
Yeah.
HAER.
I
Okay.
guess, yeah, oh yeah, so okay, so that's an extension from this high right here. And again, these are small. Like I'll just tell you, on the $25,000 account, I have
I mean,
50 shares. Like it's,
well, that's the way really to do it. I mean, and you pass the eval with. I was watching that video this morning, and the risk reward you had was what, like 1 to 3.5 or so. I mean, it was really good. It
yeah,
was impressive.
and the idea is that I am looking to take many trades and
Yes.
really small across many trades, right? I'm trying to
Yes.
almost emulate to some degree a market maker, right? Where I'm shorting things on the way up, I'm buying things on the way down, and just knowing that over the long run, the stats will work out. And I just need a couple, like if if at the end of the day, hour is $1 stock, that wouldn't surprise me, right? And that would be a massive risk reward play, and even make some okay money even on like 50 shares. So.
Absolutely. Yeah, you certainly can with a few points there. Octo still halted up. Traders, PAPL, that one dumped the 60, 70 cents. That was the hangover that's working right now. INHD kind of going
Pineapple,
sideways.
what kind of chart is this? Pineapple Financial, the PAPL. Just look at this. This is
RAPP.
weird.
All right, PPI, I am interested in. I like what you're saying against the pre-market highs. It's an edge I do like to stab at when you have that euphoria in pre-market from the retail guys, as we were discussing earlier. Oftentimes that does provide a level of resistance. I see that edge working fairly well. Oftentimes,
Well, because a common trading strategy for a lot of these people are to just buy through pre-market highs. So then the question is, okay, when that doesn't materialize or fails, is there a trade kind of in the other side of things? So
yeah.
Tron, someone's mentioning. Oh yeah, that's shooting right off the. So this is one of those treasury companies that is just yodeling Tron. Very interested in the crypto space, right? I've been saying it all the time. This Ethereum just consolidating so tightly against all-time highs to me looks like I'd be shocked if we don't take a run at 5,000 at some point in the near future here. We have Farcoin up 10% today. Just had to throw that in there. It's very important for everyone to know. The king.
XAIR stuff then was at new highs, now 380 again. 420. It feels like it's going to gravitate towards that $4 area. Now that it's up here at 380, Mike and I were going over that this morning. I mean that this likely they pull towards that whole dollar on XAIR. So let me go ahead and throw probably just a few hundred shares out there up and over 4.
Yeah. I think that hour is, it's halted. Ooh.
Go ahead and have an order ready at 410 on it, Steph. The hangovers are more ride or ride out mentality for me. Like they either do the PAPL or they don't. So INHD, I'm gonna take this one off.
Yeah, Hood. That's a good shout out there for old big milkshake. Hood is Hood's popping out of this base, looking really strong, and that would line up a lot with what I just feel. And this is I hate being the quant. Talk about feel. It feels like we have consolidated for a long time here in crypto, and it just feels to me like we are going to have a nice little pop here soon. So
Octo, ouch. Gonna be a halt fest this morning.
Ooh, yeah. Like, how do you trade this? Because tomorrow the volatility will have adjusted so that it could move way more without getting halted. Like, how do you? I don't know. It just seems hard.
XAIR just shot up to 420. Let's see if that magic 20 is going to hold there. It took me out at the 410 on a couple hundred there. So I'm gonna trade this. I'll give it up to about 450. XAIR. I'll set the stop up there.
I'm trying to just create a lot of these thumbnail charts for these halted ones, but there might just be too many to do. Someone just got crushed in Octo. He says absolutely, and then it might gap up and then halt up, and then someone gets crushed from the other side. These are widowmaker stocks if you're not doing them correctly.
All right. Patience on the winners, guys. We want that 1 to 3.5 risk reward like Mr. Noss has. So we're just going to kick back here. It's that's what I need to systematize, myself, that reward side. Or doing like what you and Mitch say, throw the sticky note on it, just let it do its thing.
There's so many quotes out there, right? Jesse Livermore, Charlie Munger, right? Pick your really rich dude who was trading, and it's always like something to the effect of the money is made in the sitting, the money's made in the waiting, right? The money's not made in the hitting the buttons. And I just always look at it, if you're trying to scalp for pennies, that just you're competing against Citadel and Goldman. And I don't want to fight those guys, right? I want to fight the retail guys. I want to just give me a small provable statistical edge and just shout. And
you are just halted down.
Yeah, I've noticed that. I didn't get a chance to do anything. I'm just in it. I'm just hanging out. Again, it's a small position, but it's already up $25 or something on it, so I'll take it. But LDI, I'll bring we just the system shorted this as well. I always go to like a daily chart because again, all the reason for all of these trades are on daily charts. So again, this one's looking for, hey, this is a unusual extension that is getting extended even higher here, and quite often these find. So yeah, again, HOUR, if this thing fails back into this range, and all of the people who are buying here hoping that it rocketed, if they end up start getting wrong, like we've seen with a lot of Kevin's plays, I've noticed that when these things crack, they can go all day. I don't know if it has, or whether that was just another insane volatility halt, but if and when they crack, it just seems to be an all-day event because people are just, you've got the hope has been sucked out of the trade that the people are going to become quadrillionaires trading these things. Yeah, and that CLS is working against me. I am VT. There's another biotech. So we're long a little bit of this IMVT as it's pulling back into this particular range. Again, I can show you all these systems, but I'm currently trying to manage 6. My goal is to very quickly get up to 10. And then when I get 10 systems that I'm comfortable with, I'm going for the big guy. I'm going for the 200K account.
You're going to work 10 systems on the 200K? Is that what you said?
That's the goal. So I'm trading them
Nice.
very
Yeah,
small on the 25K. And then, the game plan is to go, into the big guy.
Guys, CIGL is very interesting play for me. Let me pull that up. I'm likely going to take a short here into this pop. I mean, we had a power hour move on Friday, but it's created a lot of resistance up here to the 520. So any pop up here close to 5 is going to be met with some resistance. CIGL says one on monitoring on the sidelines.
419 is the 2-day view app on that. Just FYI. So your 420 level, which lines up with the pre-market high. Just again, FYI, that was. I want to take a look at some of the other ones. That I even forget that I called those out.
PAPL.
PAPL. Yeah, got nowhere. It was 718. Got nowhere near there.
XAIR is trying to hold 4 right now, so that one may stop me out. It's got a lot of the momentum on it right now. XAIR.
And I want to, for the audience,
PRSO too.
reiterate.
PRSO.
This is how systems are made, right? So I'm watching Kevin, and I think Kevin's got a really good skill of shorting these second day things that everyone's forgotten about and does well. So it's that I think the problem and a lot of the issue that people have with quants is because you get a lot of people sitting there and they just throw numbers at a wall, and then they get an equity curve that looks good and they start trading it. What I'm trying to do is, Kevin has said something to me that's interesting. I think it's an interesting psychological phenomenon. I've seen him work the trades, and I've taken a couple of them myself, and there seems to be edge there. So it's all started ever before a back test has been created, before anything's got quantified. There is a thing that happens in the market that we're seeing, and then it comes down to, and it's different from the way you'll hear a lot of quants work, but I think it's the reason that a lot of quants fail is because they're just looking for what series of moving averages, right, crossing makes sense. Whereas I'm starting from this is a system that it makes the psychology make sense. I've seen people use it. It makes sense to me. Now let's systematize it, right? So if you're looking to get into the game, just think that way, right? It's why I always say, I think you have to be a trader before you can be a quant. I don't think you can do it the other way around.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I mean, the edge does work well when I trade it, when I personally trade it and stop involving myself in my own emotions. Like, oh, let me take the octos, because I've certainly fallen, prey of that sometimes.
I say it all the time. A lot of people say, oh, I've got psychology problems when it comes to trading. I think everyone does. I don't think anyone is suited to do this. I think you get some weird freaks sometimes that can actually do it. That's why I'm so big on systematizing it, is that my job is to be a neutral observer here and to look at the markets and to go through charts. And then my job is to pass things off to a computer because I, very admittedly,
Yeah.
am the worst discretionary trader that's ever existed. But thankfully, it's 2025. I don't need to be a discretionary trader. I can just let the robot handle it.
So take a look at PRSO as well. 2-day VWAP, I'm sure, was absolutely perfect on this one.
Yep, one
PRSO.
140. So it came right to
Yep.
that tick and then fell
Yep.
off.
Yep. And then this is a fader, likely. I mean, it's not. This one was a good play Friday, but it's percentage wise, it's not a crazy amount. XAIR, you dirty dog. So would be a sloppy seconds move up here, perhaps. But yeah, I mean, it came all the way down here to the 380s, back up towards 350s, just bounced, chopping around quite a bit, traders.
Yeah, like when you record your trades, do you ever think of just not ever looking on day one? Like just I will.
Right, right. Yeah, that does cross my mind a lot. There we go. All right, XAIR through the 450s, making a new leg up, guys.
Because I always look at it too is where, and it's like what I talk about with my positioning data for my long term systems. 'Cause I just want
Yeah,
to go where everyone's not, and the way I look at it is there's probably thousands of people and tons of chat rooms that are trading XAIR, and the more people
right.
look at it, the
Creates
less
less edge.
less
Yeah,
edge, right?
yeah.
Tomorrow, say there's 10,000 people watching and trading the stock right now. Tomorrow, there's going to be maybe 2,000. And then the next day, there might be 1,000. And then the next day, there might be a couple hundred. And if you agree that edge is inversely correlated to the amount of people that watch something, then that means today there might be a little bit of edge. And I just wonder how much of it is like dopamine kind of thing, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, yeah, it is. Certainly is. 100% right on that. Oh, well, additionally, what you also should do, guys, is when you find something that has more edge, you should size more into those plays. Like that's dynamic sizing, and it's more advanced, to think in terms like that. But let's say you have your own personal like hangover or whatever is your pocket ace hand at the poker table. Like you're going to want to apply more risk, right? Because I know Michael Noss certainly has certain systems that at certain times work with higher percentage than others, and you're just in that. The smart thing to do is apply more risk, to
Yep.
those setups. So less risk, like so for day one. Well, I'm glad we're talking about this. Like day one, I should size differently on these day one moves, like maybe on the octos, right? Like Steph was saying, sizing down on octo. There's less edge here. It's overcrowded. Like Noss is talking about, there's way more people involved here. It's creating less edge. So less size down for it. And then on your A plus setups,
Exactly. Yeah.
sizing up.
And yeah, we talk about how quants do that as well, right? Where I might build a back test that has 10,000 trades in it, and those 10,000 trades might look good, and then I might optimize that down and have another subset of that does a little bit less. But IWM has gone negative. Qs are still
It's up.
positive.
Yep.
So just like we talked about, we're getting a large big cap tech rally, and then everything else is selling
It was
just a little bit there.
IPDN, by the way. IPDN was the one that I literally didn't take the position on. But I'm like, look, the THAR in relation to IPDN, IPDN's down a point. Yeah, probably off of that 2-day VWAP. Or it didn't. Sometimes they don't quite bounce to those levels. That's why I like to throw just even a half position on, in case they don't. That like I know systematically, like if you're throwing in probably that 2-day VWAP, come up to it, and that's the entry point. If there was a way for you to somehow still get a position, if you could size, scale positions as well for the IPDN, sometimes they don't quite make it, to that level. RAPPs, guys, is kind of, I mean, it's going sideways off of the VWAP. Sideways is sign of health. Again, I'd be looking on RAPP for a little bit of a euphoric move to get involved with that one for the profit taken on down. QS giving a little pop too. I know Josh was involved with QS. The open there, technical area. I mean, it's already been up and through 10. So I'm curious if it's going to try to red to green move QS back over that level. Go green.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, so undercut VWAP here, and now it's looking to get right back through.
Octo giving confirmation as to why I'm not involving myself in that name right now.
Yeah, I to be honest, I haven't even looked at it since the last.
It's halted up right now.
Yeah, like don't. Again, this if I always look at ignore if you're making a bunch of money, always ignore what I say all the time. But I look at something like this and I say, not worth the stress. Just not worth it for me, to be honest, right? Where
Even if you had a stress heart attack, got sent to the hospital, but you made your year's salary on it. Not worth it.
just not interested, right? Well, and I always just look at it as I gotta be in this game for a while. I'm an old man now, right? I gotta keep going here for a while. So, I don't want to have my blood pressure just raring all day, every day.
Right. Yeah.
It's just not. It's not what I'm after. So,
I may join you on this short if we can get some kind of a pop here, because I like the resistance we've created, especially after the move south. I'll be looking for some kind of a pop there to get involved with it. HOUR. It's an interesting one. I mean, especially with this pre-market kind of random move too after Friday's action. But I want to see what it's going to do right here at $5. Again, any pop up towards 520.30, I'd like to involve myself there. Yeah, traders, let us know how you're doing right now as well.
pop you over here. I'm just something's
HOUR.
funky with the bot, so I'm just taking a quick look at it here.
That's why you're there to manage it, right?
Yeah, I'm just looking at some of these trades and I'm like, these don't look right. So I just need to. And again, this is, a lot of people I think have the dream of, I'm so bot trading. So you just go and set it up and drink. It's like, no, you gotta. Now eventually things get so systematized that I don't watch them, but I'm just not there yet, right? I need to see like months of absolutely no issues or anything, and then I can start be a little bit more confident letting it go. But I'm just kind of reloading some things in here just to make sure.
Yeah, hour feels heavy after that. This is something I like to trade. We elevator down under the consolidation area in which it had. So certainly there's longs in there. They're looking to get out, break even. It's a psychological kind of setup. So it's something I'm monitoring closely for. HWH, is this spiking up right now? RAP is pulling down towards the VWAP right now as well. HWH. This was a play Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday last week, and a little bit of volume.
All right, let's see if that's better. Let's see. Yeah, again, I'm still in this hour, and it's. I'll be in it. I'll be in it all day.
Good.
That's the way she works.
Nice, Josh. I like it. You're Michael and I. We both like boring. Boring, oftentimes profitable. Very much so.
And not to get too cynical, but I think the reason that you'll hear a lot of other people just always talk about the thing that's in play is because if you're playing the engagement game, right, you're trying to get noticed the best that you can, then you would talk about the stock that's going nuts today.
Yeah,
you
certainly.
just, I'm not, again, not to get too tinfoil hat or whatever. Right? It's that, if someone makes like a couple bucks on like Lulu, right? Lulu reported earnings a couple days ago. So if there's a trade today or tomorrow that someone takes on Lulu that makes a bunch of money, they're not going to get as noticed as someone who's right, the guy who's, if you go on Twitter, there's some dude who's going to say that he traded this Octo perfectly, and he's going to get a lot of engagement because there's going to be a lot of people out there searching for Octo. And right, if I go to Stock Twits, I guarantee you that's going to be the number one talked about name right now.
Yeah, that's why on X I highlighted Octo. Join the room today. Let's discuss Octo. Not trading it. Let's discuss it though.
Yeah. Right. So yeah, this is the number one talked about thing, and it's like, so if someone comes through and said, "Oh, I made a great trade on Lulu," it's like, well, everyone's forgotten about Lulu because we all have goldfish brains. All
right, HWH, I like this one. It was popping, pretty much straight up, a whole point here, up towards previous close, 620 resistance. 620 would be a key area for me, HWH. It's kind of lowish volume, though, but I'll attempt to get involved there. And then hour, if that one gives a pop up and over 5, I'll involve myself there against a lot of the consolidation. So HWH I'm with. An hour, looking for this one to get involved with against likely around like the 550s. Curling back up, U-shaping up there would be no bueno. Let's go ahead and get filled here. Hour.
Yeah, I have one. Let me see. I can just look at how many trades. I have 14 positions on right now. So it's been a pretty busy day. I'm up $40. So I'll go through some of them, but I'm not going to bore everyone with all of them. B-Sky, or I know that Mitch talks about this one quite a bit. BKSY. Black Sky Technology. It's a nice little bounce up there, so I'm short that one. OCUL, I've heard a bunch about. OCUL. Right, long this name. I'm pulling back after a potential breakout. But yeah, I'll just post. So I've got... I wonder if I can do this or if it's going to be weird. No. Let's keep taking snapshots. I got to figure out a way to... I'm just on a Mac, so it gets harder to... Oh, no. Didn't want to do that. I've made that my background now. Oh, I'm a boomer. I'm a boomer. So you can see some of the current positions. Right, so I'm up about 91 real and down 54 unreal. Right, there's hour short, 40 shares. OGN, CRC, IMVT, CRMD, and again, this is just, it's the load-in period, and this is what the systems look to do, is they take the morning and load in things and then look to see if there's some revision. And the question you always got to ask yourself is how many times does a stock close at the high or the low of the day? And then if the answer is not very often, then you can kind of see where I'm getting at with some of these trades.
BE, a very energy play. That one's been in a very strong uptrend. BE, and having a
little bit of reversal candle today, but yeah, this thing's been a monster. Oh yeah, sell down right off the. Now, if we take a look, right, we now have the IWM down 0.3%, and we have the Qs up 0.69%. So this reversion is big, right? So we talked about, again, the small caps outperforming the large caps for a long period of time. We talked about this morning how that little bit of air was let out of that trade, and now we're seeing a little more normal, I guess we could call it, action where, right, large caps are doing better than small caps, which is, again, what we expect to see in a normal market.
RAPP put in a double top at 42. It's slowing down to me. I'm thinking about fading RAPP some.
Yeah, I see it keeps bouncing off VWAP here. So if that VWAP lets go, this is one that I don't put too much stock in the 2-day VWAP because no one really knew anything about this stock yesterday. So oh, see, I love that. In my long-term account, trying to teach my 9-year-old daughter stocks, we use McDonald's and Disney to keep her interested. I have a buddy of mine, and it's actually a funny story, who he's been doing the same thing with his son. And the idea is that when his son likes something, if it's publicly traded, he's got like a couple grand in a Robinhood account for him. And they go in, they look at the stock chart, and they look at the numbers, and they decide whether or not to buy it. And he called me the other day, or sometime last year, and said my son's kicking my ass because he had Roblox and like units. He had like all the video game stocks and like all of the, and his son's account was up like 35% or something like that. It's just hilarious.
Hour squeezed back up and halted up. PAPL was the hangover that is working out very well right now. IPDN as well. So IPDN, PAPL, both hangovers. Didn't take either of them. They're both working out great though.
Are you too focused on XAIR, which actually looks like it might be failing here
My
just a little
focus
bit.
was on the wrong thing. Yeah, XAIR just put in that 478 top right there. Yeah. I mean, it's can certainly get focused on these. PAPL gave another pretty decent. Do you use the previous close line at all? It tapped that 654.
Yeah, I
Perfectly,
think it's
yeah.
important, right? Because we talk, again, what I look for is common trading strategies that you'll have gurus teach
Yeah.
new traders online, and then I look for those to fail, right? So, a red to green play. Hey, it opened up red, it went green, you buy it there. It could be a money-making strategy in the long run, but when it fails, there might be a little bit of edge there as well. I'm gonna pop it over to you for a quick second. I just gotta go run
You're
to the
good.
door
Yeah.
real quick.
Yeah, you're good. Yeah, that's the nature of it, guys. Sometimes with the hangovers, I took the INHD. That one didn't work, and then the ones I didn't take. That's why I like to trade the edge and repetition, and really, I like to take all the trades. Divide the shares amongst all of them. One may not work, but the three other ones might. And you let the winners run, and you be very disciplined with the losers. There's been days where I've had like 5-6 red trades and 1 green trade, and I'm still break even on the day. Risk rewards just has to be set properly. SOGP is the Soggy P is now pulling in today. Had a red day on Friday, 30 down to 24 today. So is Soggy P going to start putting in some red days now? I mean, this was the dividend play, SOGP, and the other one was UUU, I believe. Which, let's see what she's doing. She's still slowing down a bit, but these dividend plays were hot there for a minute. Octo over 30. Octo over 30. Let us know what you're trading, guys. Let's be disciplined. We don't want to oversize any one ticker. They're the best traders out there. They don't have a crystal ball, but they do know what they're going to do when faced with the adversity, of the market. Really, I mean, there's no crystal ball. The crystal ball is you. Know your reaction. Know your reaction to the market. Octo's sitting up there at 32. Yeah, CIGL is an interesting one. Slower play against 420. I'm curious in. Hour, the halt down and then halt up. Annoying, but is what it is.
Yeah. This is why it's one of those, again, my whole thing is I want to take as many trades as possible because
Yes.
I would be annoyed with Hour if I was just watching this thing too closely.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, I was just going over that with them. There's been days like today where I've taken nothing essentially but red trades, and then I have a couple green ones that work out really well, and I'm green on the day. It's proper risk reward. There was one trader that had like their winning percentage was 5%, I believe, and they were. Now I don't know the validity behind the story, but it was interesting what I was listening to on YouTube. But it was just their winning trades were monsters. The losing trades they just took them off as soon essentially as they weren't working, and the winners they would just scale and let those maximize themselves infinitely, essentially. Like Octo, from $1 to 34, just sizing it on the long side.
Well, and right, you look at, I always use the turtle traders, for example, because they were one of the first systematic guys out there. They had 30% win rates, and dudes made, there's billionaire turtle traders. And yeah, they just, when they're right, they're usually
very
right.
Yeah.
And they don't have profit targets. That's the big thing, is there's some sort of trailing stop. And trailing stops sound good until you have something that's a really big winner turn into a decently sized loser, and you have to be okay with that, right? And you have to be okay with being up, maybe 100% on something, and by the time you get out, maybe you only make 50% or 20%, and that is very hard to do, like manually. It's just very hard to mentally do, to say, oh, I could have made tons on this. I could have made 100% and I walked away with 20%, and then be able to go to take the next trade. But, to make that 20%, you had to not have a 10% stop, right? And again, for those who won't have, if you have not read, there's a whole bunch of books, but just Google turtle traders. I think there's a whole bunch of like YouTube videos and stuff. You can catch it, audio books. I could not recommend more to study those guys, because they were one of the first, I would say, quants that exist out there.
Octo halted up $38.
Wow.
Yeah, Corey XAIR short at 430. I was just taking a look. XAIR, it good job on the patience there for that one. I mean, it's sitting right there, but I mean, if it does that feel word, it feels a little heavyish off of the highs. So we'll see if that one can stay heavy and crack back under 4.
Yeah.
It did. I mean, you definitely can see that little lower wick there. The liquidity we were talking about in pre-market.
Yeah, so this just looking at this chart, the way I would look at this and say, okay, it definitely hit that, tried to break the highs and failed miserably. Now the question is, this bounce is the bounce that I'd be interested in. If this bounce fails and then we roll back over to 4, then this thing's probably done. But if they can get it back up to highs, then who knows? Maybe this thing can keep going. But I just always look at it and say, how many of the degens that would be looking at XIAR are into Octo, which is now up 2,500% on the day. Just crazy numbers. Crazy numbers.
I'm gonna join you on this Octo, Corey.
Uh-oh.
Yeah,
XIAR, you're saying.
Or yeah, sorry.
You said
XIAR.
Octo. I was like, uh-oh. I was like, I'm kicking you out of the stream. You're gonna get everyone hurt. You're getting them in Octo.
No. Oh yeah, kick me out. XAIR. Yeah, I give trades typically 2 trades and then I'm done with them.
And I think that's a fine, especially discretionary traders, right? It's a fine rule. If part of your job is to read the stock and you've tried it twice and you're not reading it correctly, I've seen 2-3 times make sense. You want to avoid the revenge trading.
Overstaying your welcome, yeah.
Yeah, you're like, are you trading it because there's another unique setup there, or are you trading it because you want your money back, right?
Yeah, I tell traders, like, the emotions, at least for me, have never. I mean, the gurus out there would like to tell you that you're going to make it one day and you're not going to have emotions anymore. But the emotions, like, they've never really gone away from me. I just know what they're telling me. That's the difference. I think the longer you stay, the more you'll just know exactly what they're saying. So now, when I'm like eager to get into something, I'll be asking myself, why? Is this a revenge trade? Is there a setup here, as Nas was saying? As this flush from the 470s, the new high it made, it's an edge I do like to trade. Once we break up to a new high, and we pull back very hard. Oftentimes on the retracement back is met with a lot, resistance as long as you're looking to break even out, because you guys know very well when I first started trading, I was doing what a lot of traders do: you buy the breakouts on a ticker that's up multiple hundreds of percent, and then you go
Hmm.
the elevator down, you go deer in headlights, the paralysis by analysis, and then and I mean, you just bleed that account via capitulation, as these things do bleed out. So
Yeah.
it's yeah. Be very
I want
mindful of
to.
that. Just be in tune with your emotions. Know what they are telling you, and try to avoid. uh, I guess listen. I mean, just know what they're saying and trade accordingly.
Well, I like this from our boy Steph here, right? Is that trading is easy, following the plan is hard. And that's right. And that's why, again, not to just be the guy, say, hey, everyone should have a bot, but that's why I spent years of looking back at the day. You trade through it the day, you record all your trades at the end of the day, saying, holy crap, if I just did what I said I would do at the beginning of the day, I would have made X instead of losing Y. And
That's the hangovers right now for
right?
me.
And
Exactly.
I got sick of that, and I said, okay, so what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to come up with the plan, and then I'm going to figure out a way to automate that plan, and know that me trading absolutely perfectly would probably beat the robot trading suboptimally. But I can't trade perfectly. I can't do it. I don't have the, that Zen like temperament that's the rare person who's a really good manual trader has. So I'm not going to do it. I won't do it. Right? I will have a bot, because
Oh
I always say
gosh,
that the
Howard.
best discretionary trader would beat the best bot, just 100%. Oh, OCTO is open Octo again. Shot up to 50 there for a second.
Oh my goodness.
That's nuts. Like, yeah, 48
Yeah,
something.
we're gonna be seeing this one. We'll see all the gurus on social media. They're
Yeah.
all making millions right now.
Yeah, you open up two accounts.
Yeah.
One account is short, the other account is long, and then you just post the results from the account that makes money. There you go.
There you go. Yeah. Easy.
Yeah,
Best
no,
strategy.
no shot. Like, I'm tempted for fun just to pop in one share and just say, here we go. Right, just short a share, and then if you're right, you make $20. If you're wrong, you lose 20-30 bucks. But it's like that's
What was the
for
short
fun.
interest on this before today? Oh my god.
Let's see. Let's go. Let's see if Finviz has something. I bet you they weren't even talked about. This to me is this is the musical chairs game, right? Is the only reason that this thing, yeah, it's 2%. So this isn't a short squeeze. This is simply everybody is talking about it.
Yeah,
Therefore,
but don't those 2% of people, whoever that 2% is,
oh,
my heart goes out to them.
one, yeah,
What are they waking up to this morning?
they're like,
They just brewed their coffee. And they're like,
right? Because this
"Phew."
thing is, if you zoom out on this chart, it's one of these awful ones that was a thousand. I see a high of $7,000, and yesterday was $1. So somebody was short this thing and thought they were doing fantastic. Then they wake up today just creamed off some. I don't even know if it's confirmed that they're, yeah, $20 million private placement for strategic
Good work,
investment
Josh.
from.
Good work,
Oh,
Josh. On
that's
the
why what's going on. The investment was from Bitmine, BMNR. So you're getting the Tom Lee effect, right? Where everything that guy touches right now turns to gold. I love Tom Lee. I know a lot of people hate him because he's a permeable, but I just love him because he's a permeable. So therefore he's correct most of the time.
Let's stay heavy under 4 on this XAIR. Kicking back with it right now. Haven't taken any off. I want to stay heavy under VWAP under 4. I mean, this time we're cracking under 4 pretty hard. I mean, it may get some cover action here. I'm going to kick back with it a bit, though.
Do I short one share of OCTO for the fun, for the stream? There we go. I did it. I did one share. One share at $41.
You might make 40
Fun.
bucks today.
Oh, it just halted. There we go. And this is literally for
Yeah, look.
because what's going to happen? It's going to go to 100 and I'm going to lose $60. Like, so we're doing this for fun. So I'm short one share. I'll bring in the screenshot here from $41.10. And for no other reason than for fun. Here we go. Here's the fill. just because, right? When you're a quant and your robot's doing for you, you got a little bit of room for some. There's the one share at 41.10. So if this thing goes back to like $8 today, I'm gonna brag on Twitter that that I shorted it from $40. I'm just not gonna tell people that it was one share, and well, there we go. But yeah, it's just to, again to watch it just to have a little bit of fun.
Yeah, it keeps you interested, just having something going on there.
Because one share, because why not?
Mitch is going to be so proud of you. Just say you made money on Octo today.
Yeah, I won't tell them how much. I'm like, yeah, you're cooking inside your house while they're fit, and I'm short one share here. Let's see what happens.
XAIR hit again on that bounce. We need it to stay heavy. I'm trying to get better about that. Getting the winners. Getting a little bit more aggressive with those.
Yeah, good, right? Because again, if I would just say, I've just seen, again, I haven't been trading with you very long, but I've just seen some of these things just go all day. Like, could this thing get back to $3? Yeah, it's probably. I don't think that's crazy.
It's the thing I've always struggled with that part of it. Like when I see $50, like my urge has always been to take it off, but I recognize that emotion, and so that's why we talked one session. We were going over how taking a piece off it's an emotional thing because of the fear of being wrong or losing money. Those two fears, and I certainly have, like, those are the biggest fears I struggle with. I mean, so that's why I normally will take a little bit off, so I know, okay, I'm green regardless. But there's something I got to work on to get that reward up. Is size into them. It's uncomfortable because your average is getting hit, right? That's the one thing I don't like about it. That average is getting crushed there. But yeah, so
Well, there's some things that are just said over and over again in trading that don't really make sense, other than if you're looking at it from an emotional standpoint. Like one of those being, never let a winner turn into a loser. We've heard that all the time. The question
Yeah.
is why, and it's only because it hurts, right? There's no like psychological reason why or there's no like mathematical reason why you wouldn't turn a winner into a loser. So the only reason is just that it hurts. The question is there edge in trailing that widely? Because if you take it to an extreme, does that mean if you get a 1 penny tick in your direction and it's a winning trade, and then you get a 1 penny tick against you, you should get out? It's like, no. So everyone is okay with turning winners to losers. The question is how big of a winner to how big of a loser. And again, all this comes back to the point with most traders that they don't actually have systems that they can kind of put their finger on, right?
Yeah, it's what I love about what you're doing. I mean, it's so transparent too, which it creates such relatability. I mean, I've been going through a lot of your content, and there's so much truth behind it. I mean, it's I think it will gravitate a lot of traders because we ultimately we're the reasons for much of the failure. If we eliminate us, that brings us to consistency. Try to as much as possible, even if you're trying the OCOs or trailing something, just taking yourself out of the picture.
Yeah, I always say that I believe a suboptimal strategy that you could pick any strategy in the world and potentially make it profitable with the right discipline and the right systematization. So if somebody's unprofitable, it's generally they don't even have a system at all. Most people, if they say, "What's your system?" they'll give you a lot of words that don't make a lot of sense. Like, or they're not.
What's a system?
Well, and they're not concrete. They're like, "Oh, I look for stocks that are up a lot, and then I look to fade them down a lot." Like
The leading gapper on the day.
yeah, so like what define up a lot, define down a lot, define, right? If you actually, dig in and have someone to really, right, you put them in a box. That's how I do when I talk to traders. I say, okay, so tell me about your system, and every time they use a word that is vague in nature, I just try to pin them on that. And then eventually you see after like an hour, they're like, well, I don't really have a system at all. I just kind of look at a chart and then take a trade. And it's like, okay, well, no wonder, right? You shouldn't expect to be doing amazing then, right? But the beauty of it is it's easy to fix, right? But
Yeah, I mean, it certainly is. It's you got to choose your hard, right? I mean, I know that's kind of the thing you'll see out there. It's hard to trade discipline, but it's also hard not to because it's hard on the P&L. RAPP guys has been fading off of VWAP.
Mhm.
Another one I didn't take.
So yeah, so this is a strategy that I'm starting to get a little bit interested of is like maybe and this might be as simple as a like a 30-minute opening range break on
Yeah,
stuff that's up big that doesn't take out that
you
pre-market
could
high.
you could like the system there would be work real well. I mean that's this is kind of a simple one to systematize too because you're taking pretty much the percentage. I'm sure you can define the exact percentages
Mhm.
up, and then you have clear levels like the pre-market high, and these
Yep.
work very well. I mean, off of those pre-market levels,
Mhm.
oftentimes, yeah, real well.
Someone's asking about my 2-minute time frame. It's just because it's gonna make me sound like a huge nerd, but I guess everything makes me sound because I am a huge nerd. But it's just double 1 minute. So like you go from 1 minute to 2 minute, you're decreasing the amount of candles in half. You go from 2 minutes to 3 minutes, you're only decreasing them by 50%. Then 3 minutes to 4 minutes, only 25%. So it's a way to see all the action, but just not be on the 1 minute time frame. And because I don't base any decisions off this anyway, it just is more or less random, right? I want to see the movements, but I don't. So I don't want to use like a 5 minute or a 15 minute because then I can't see everything that's happened. But I just find a 1 minute's like really really messy. But it's again, I'm not basing any decisions off these. So
Yeah, I've seen a lot of more skilled advanced traders. They try to eliminate some of that noise. The 1 minute, certainly a lot of it.
oh,
XAIR
personally, if I
probably.
wasn't watching the market here all day, I wouldn't go any deeper in its 30-minute chart. But it's more that I'm just presenting and showing because all of my trading right now is based off daily charts. So I wouldn't even need to see anything sub 1 day or at the very least 30 minutes. This XAIR, I was watching this because I know you're in here, and just tapped VWAP and bounced there. So that
Yeah.
now the question is that a real bounce or is that just because if you lose VWAP there, then you probably have a whole bunch of people who bought that VWAP bounce that are underwater. I just like the look of this one. I like the fact that it broke that pre-market. This area broke like 450 like 3 times and got rejected each time.
Right.
So that tells me that that's not retail. That's someone big who's sitting at 450, and every time it gets above 450, they're putting their thumb on the scale to short this thing.
Yeah, Tack, there's certainly that trading herd mentality. I mean, that's or also known as the liquidity.
Hmm.
Uh, yeah, it's where they all the mob.
So just a quick update on the market, right? Qs haven't really done anything today, but are actually holding strong. And then we have IWM. We got the small caps bleeding. Again, I talked about this earlier, how they sold the Qs aggressively, so it makes sense that they're up. And then they covered their IWM short a little bit, not too much. So it makes sense that they're down because, again, these guys are always wrong, which is why I love positioning data to fade them. So I'm a little bit more bullish on large cap stuff for the foreseeable future, just because that trade that I've been talking about for months now, it's unwound just a little bit here. I don't think it's substantial, but it's definitely unwound a little bit.
Your HOUR, I mean, that thing just put in a huge move. Like what? I mean, it's,
Is it halted again?
halt. It's just going from halt to halt to halt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got so many positions on. I didn't even notice that one. A UFO up 2.74%. So that's interesting. MSOS still up. I got out of my MSOX position when it failed up here. I think on this bar, it's around $5. Now I think it's one of those, probably they deschedule or reschedule or whatever it is, and then that's probably a sell the news event. That wouldn't surprise me. But yeah, so far a chill day, and it makes sense that the markets aren't doing much because we have no economic numbers that we care about. If we go to Tuesday, we still don't have anything, so tomorrow might be a little slow. I think Wednesday we've got PPI, and then Thursday we have CPI, and then nothing really on Friday. So because Wednesday and Thursday are such big numbers, it could be that today is just a little bit of a nothing burger when it comes to the market, because there's just not a lot of economic activity. And again, it could be the same thing tomorrow. Oh, I forgot that I was short a share of OCTO. What's happening here? Oh, nothing. Of course, the second I get involved, right? That's it.
XAIR curling back up, guys. I'm gonna leave her alone for now. RAPP ended up being really nice. Phase 2A. People wonder, like, they come out with great news, and why are they not trending higher? Well, what does the saying go? Buy the rumor, sell the news. So oftentimes the price gets vexed in months ahead of time, as people anticipate them, as succeeding.
Well, and I also look at it too. Like, so imagine you're in this thing from $14 yesterday, and you wake up and the market's open, and you get an alert that your stock's at $40. I'm selling. Like, so you got to think, if the average person, we got to remember, the average person that moves a stock isn't a day trader. They're your mom, pa's, they're your institutions. There was probably a lot of meetings in the pre-market of different funds that are holding really strong on this one. And then they go, hey, boss, that stock that I told you to buy has just over tripled in value. We should take some profit, right? And the answer is, without a doubt, going to be yes. So,
What average person casually buying Octo?
yeah,
Oh man.
those poor guys.
My
I'm down.
goodness.
I'm down $3.65 on my Octo. Oh no.
Now come out with a YouTube video. I just blew up on Octo. It'll get a ton of
Yeah.
views.
Thumbnail me crying or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh no.
Yeah, right now, guys, HWH is the one that's working for me. It's slow, boring play. I'm gonna size it and try to, get that one going. But yeah, today for me has gone to show me, like, you gotta less focus on some of these. At least I do. Less focus on some of the XAIRs, Octos, and more focused on, like, last week's shiny jewels, and actually press the button on them. And the
No,
size is very important too. Like,
no,
size heavy on the higher predictive.
I am very interested in your trading strategy, way more than I am in just, here is the thing that is moving today, because I think there's a lot of, like, so XAIR, it might not do anything for the rest of the day, and it might just be because you're going to have these battles between the bulls and the bears, and everyone's emotions are inflamed. But then
Exactly.
what the
But look at
IPDN thing,
look
yeah,
at IPDN, look at PRSO, and look at PAPL, and all three of those slow profit taking faders. And I
and
didn't pick one
you're
of them.
not
But
the
beauty. I mean,
your most degen day traders are just not going to have the patience to trade this thing, right?
right.
Because it's even though, like, IPDN would just be kind of print you a couple bucks every few minutes, it's crazy how nothing. It wouldn't surprise me if absolutely nothing happens there, right? People don't trade it, and they won't trade it because it's
It's
just like,
doing exactly what Thar did, which we went over in
yep,
pre-market, guys. THAR still selling off too. That was the shiny jewel last week. This is and the beautiful thing with this strategy is it works. I mean, every single day you see plays, because guess what? We have Octos today. We have XAIRs today. We have so many plays that next week nobody's going to care about,
yep.
and that's when we start caring about them.
No, I am very, very interested, and I'm definitely exploring more of the strategy because I just think it makes a lot of sense, right?
It sense in both facets of the word, right? CENTS and
Yeah.
SES. Yes.
No, the yeah, it just I look at this and I say, okay, well, this is the kind of stuff that I'd love to be in because I generally hold my trades for the entire day. My bot right now, that's what it does. Is the exit condition is on the close. And it's not because it's the perfect exit condition. Again, there you could probably get a little bit better by finagling them, but it's just that over time, I want to be able to capture a winner if it trends. So I can never predict the bottom just like I can never predict the top. So over time, I just want to say, okay, oh, this is when I'll get out of this position because it's trending. So I just want to stick with the trend as long as it exists.
Yeah, and that's purely objective, guys. I mean, everybody's hearing that. I mean, it's where you're just trading the data that's printed in front of you. You're not involving your own ego or
Hmm.
in the trade at all. But yeah,
Yeah, so this
hour open
is
up, halted down. Go ahead, you go for it.
well, it's just perfect fall saying just need to keep a list. I think you could do a scan of just show me everything that's up the most on the week
Yeah,
and do or in the last 5 days or last 10 days or something. But yeah, you could just go into trading view and just create a new list and just create that list, say here's recent runners.
yeah. Essentially, every scanner works for it. I mean, you just look at the biggest percent gainers, but like put in the last month, last week, last two
Yeah,
weeks, and then
and if you get fancy, depending on how fancy your scanner is, like something like trade ideas, you would be able to say show me everything that is down today but up this month or
yeah,
something, and sort by how high it is up this month. So yeah, a couple different scanners that you could definitely put together. You could use for sure. We might be having someone on from Trade Ideas soon. I reached out to an old. I used to work with them for years and years.
yeah. I did see that on the channel. Yeah,
So yeah, I'm bringing one of them in because it is one of the I believe still it's one of the partners that you can choose from with Trade the Pool. So Q's at highs here. But yeah, that might actually be. I might come on. I guess maybe on a day that you're on, Kevin, so you could talk about how to build that particular
that'd be fun.
scanner. Because
That'd be awesome.
I know
Yeah,
you can build things like 2 day VWAP moves and things like that. So that might make your life a little bit easier. Because yeah, if it was me, I would. If I were you, I would be focusing just exclusively. I would laser in on that until you have it systematized enough that you just have a robot. You're just every day filling the list of things that you think will be good hangover stocks and throwing that into a system, get traded, and then go over to something else. Because not only would I think niches are really important in trading too. If you got really good at this, I am the guy who trades the stocks after everyone stopped giving a shit about them. I
yeah.
think it would be a good one to
Yeah,
focus.
that's narrowing your focus, the niche. Otherwise, like too broad of a focus is the P and L is going to be too broad as well. It's going to be up and down. We, we want to
Yeah,
narrow.
there's
Yeah,
FinViz would probably look at them. Also, stock charts. I know you can do stock charts. You can do chart books, right? Where it'll basically just be a page of like chart after chart after chart, and you can just kind of scroll through them of ones that were recent flyers. Like they have scans, so you can do stock charts. I bet you there's like 1,000 different trading or Trend Spider, which is a partner. I bet you could build a pretty simple scan here as well, right? So yeah, very easy, and that's the beauty of it. It's a simple thing to scan for, right? Take out every stock, sorted by how much it's up in the last 20 days, 30 days, 10 days, whatever, and then just show me stocks that are under the prior day's high, and that would probably be a good way, or even under yesterday's VWAP.
yeah. Yeah, I'm going to certainly look more into getting it systematized because today becomes frustrating when I personally don't take those trades, but they work out beautifully as they always do, and you do want to do it in repetition through and take most, if not all of them. And
Ooh,
what's nice about
XAR just
oh, I
poop in there. Are you still in it?
Yeah, no.
Just something.
Right at the top, right at the top, stopped out there.
Oh, that's fortunate. I
Yeah,
just saw
Josh,
it on
you
my
still with
screen
it?
there.
370s. Yeah, I mean, this
It
is
just dropped.
good eye there.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I just saw it just like all of a sudden. That's someone who's saying enough. That's probably the guy who was selling up here, to be honest. He probably got enough of his shares out passively and just said, screw it, hit the button.
They pressed the red button on it finally. Mr. Barron, he's been a long time subscriber. He finally started practicing longs. Ooh, yeah, it nearly gave you a heart attack. Well, Michael and I have been discussing heart attacks in here, and certainly that's why we've been
Yeah.
just watching it. It's a movie I don't mind watching for entertainment
Yeah.
purposes only.
Oh,
But
hey,
yeah,
I'm in there. I'm short my one share. Let's check on the position. Let's see, guys. I'm down 95 cents. Just crazy. Wild. Oh, it looks like I was probably up like
you're
almost $10 at one point.
like your hour, you're still in it, right? So, I mean, you give you what you size fairly
Hmm.
small an hour, and you give it wiggle room to do all this craziness. That's what I love about what you're doing too. Like, give them some wiggle room, abnormal stops, because we've been seeing abnormal volatility on some of these plays too.
Yeah, I can take. So yeah, the stop on hour is like $1, right? So again, I'm in this
Okay.
one. I got short somewhere around $6. So my stop's over $7 on this thing, right? And that means, and there's no target because the system that I've tested is just hold till the end of the day, and it's right 53% of the time. So like we talk about it, I'm not going to be right very often at all, and I'm okay with that. It's just right half of the time. It's coin flip whether or not. But the way I look at it is that I am in 20 positions right now.
Yeah.
So roughly 10 of them are going to work out and roughly 10 of them aren't. It allows me to very much be detached. I don't care what happens to anyone. I don't, if you were like put a gun in my head and
Yeah.
say, list all the day trades you're in, I have no idea. I don't even know what they are.
It's
Um, so
it's the best way of doing it. Yeah, I mean, on Friday, I think I had 6 or 7 trades going in the morning, kind of like all these hangovers. And I was telling the group, it's like this is the best way of doing it, to personally try to systematize it, because you're not honing in on one trade. You're seeing what is working objectively, what is not working. Of course, you should have your OCOs or stops in place
mhm.
regardless, but you're less tunneling on one ticker. That's where the danger happens. Honestly, it's probably one of the biggest faults I see amongst traders, is just the tunneling on one trade, revenge trading, over trading. The one ticker. Like the thing is, you don't even remember the ticker the night of or the next day. That's
Right.
the aggravation. It's like, what was I trading that I just blew up on today? So don't tunnel in on one ticker, guys. It's not worth
The
it.
I love yeah, Tack just said it right here. I love, and this is Tom Sosnoff, who's been dude's a billionaire, right? He built Thinkorswim and then sold it, and then he's been a floor options trader his entire life for it, and it's just trade small, trade often, right? That's all it is. Is you
Trade small,
trade,
trade often.
if you have an edge, you're just trying to flip that edge over and over again. Just more edge, more edge, more edge, and you're just doing so small that I always just say, if you're ever mad, if you're ever sad, and more importantly, if you're ever happy, if you're like, woo, I made a bunch of money, and right, you're banging the table and you're running around, you're saying, oh, it's great. I think that's almost as bad as when you're really mad that you're upset, because in both scenarios your emotions are now elevated or depressed, and you're trying to stay baseline. So in a perfect world, there is no you don't care every time you make money, you don't care every time
You're
you lose money,
detached. I mean, exactly
right?
what you said. It's Mark Douglas was speaking on that detachment often in his book that I've been reading, and the detachment's
Great book.
interesting because
Yeah.
uh, in any other career, you cannot detach yourself from the outcome, right? Imagine being a doctor or surgeon. It's like, I got to detach myself from this anything, electrician, whatever the case may be. Your focus is the outcome. I mean, you're getting paid to accomplish the
Hmm.
outcome. But in trading, you have to be separate from that outcome. You have to, when you get involved in the trade, say, I don't know, neither do I care what's going to happen with this trade. Now, yeah, that alone right there could ruffle some feathers. Like, well, I need this trade to win. You're not supposed to. You're not
Right.
supposed to need this trade through repetition, like Michael's saying. At the casinos, the house has the edge. Why? Not because they're going all in on one hand of blackjack. It's like hand after hand after hand via repetition. So
Hmm.
put yourself in that house seat as best as you can.
Yeah, no, couldn't said it better, right? You don't know. You know the outcome of 1,000 coin flips, roughly, or 10,000 coin flips, even better. No one knows the outcome of one coin flip, right? It's 50. It's the definition of 50-50, and it's the same thing you got to think about with your trading, is that you have no idea what will happen. And anyone who tells you, "Oh, I knew this thing was going to go up," I avoid that person like the plague, because no, you didn't.
Yeah,
You had no idea. You could have bought the stock, and immediately after, the CEO could have gotten indicted for fraud. You don't know, right? It's like,
not good for marketing to say I don't know what's going to happen on this trade, but it's the truth.
right.
I mean, you guys are in the right place because we want. I mean, trade the pool. We want you guys to be very successful and profitable, and that doesn't mean that we have a crystal ball into what the market's going to do, but we have a crystal ball in what we should do.
Hmm.
SKYQ, guys, little penny play popping up to the 200-day moving average is one I'm monitoring for potential short as well. SKYQ, 120 would be a level I'd be looking at.
Generally, anytime I'd have to read about it. Generally, anytime you got Q as the last of the name, you are a bankrupt company. So,
Yeah, that's true. Isn't that the fifth symbol
oh, it
there?
could be
It could be.
BBBYQ. Oh, did
But
you
one,
hear the heart attack from? And this is just my own like personal like curiosity. This whole Bed Bath and Beyond. There's a video I should find about it. And it's the whole Bed Bath and Beyond cult that still to this day think that their Bed Bath and Beyond shares that the company told them is bankrupt. I get them hitting me up on Twitter all the time. They think it's going to come back and makes them $1 billion.
they're
Even
thinking they're going GME style or something.
yeah,
It
even though
was
the
everybody
company's
short
gone
there.
and the
Oh
company
yeah.
sent
Oh,
you.
there's no ticker. Okay.
Yeah, they sent you a note and they said your stocks are extinguished, which basically means take them to your accountant and you can write off the loss for tax. It's gone. But as a cruel joke, Overstock bought the IP, so they bought their name and whatever. And like 2 days ago, they just changed their ticker from Overstock to Bed Bath and Beyond, which I just made a joke of. Isn't that like naming your boat the Titanic? If you're going to take the name of a company that went bankrupt. But what happened was a lot of people who had a watch list still on it that said BBBY and just left it there because they were sure they were going to make $1 million. Woke up and it was up like 100,000% because basically it went in the system. It went from zero to like $8, even though again this is just Overstock.com rebranded. So you had a lot
Yeah.
of these people like really like I'm a millionaire, I'm quitting my job, I'm doing whatever, and then just realize that it's just they don't own it because their shares are still gone. And
That's very sad.
so yeah, I keep an eye on this one. Every time I see something with a Q in the name, it reminds me. But
Yeah.
so you
That's
shorted
like
some of that? I saw you type there in chat, or are you looking to short if it gets to 20?
yeah, I
There you go.
threw
Okay.
500 on it. I'm gonna throw another 500 closer to 120. It's crossing the 200-day. It's a pattern I see work quite often. We get the upper shadows on the daily around that 200-day moving average, and yeah, coming up towards some resistance. Of course, 120 is an area I look at. A conversation you I and Mitch had one time that it just sticks with me, and I don't know why I didn't consider this more often. Is chat rooms avoid these tickers so they sustain less of their move. And why is that? Well, you don't get the leverage that they normally
Hmm.
get. Yeah, that I don't know why I never put much weight into that. I never considered it too much. But yeah, most chat rooms you don't get the leverage with most brokers under like $3.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so they sustain less, especially when we're up 100%, 50 cents to a dollar here. So I got a 103 looking to work it against 120.
Yeah, I always like that. Yeah, anything that you don't get leverage on, I think that's there's some of these rules that I think you have to, and some of these systems I have, without giving away too much, are built around rules like this that aren't they're external to market forces. For example, one of the systems that I have that I trade personally is buying stocks that are down more than 10% in a day, the prior day.
Hmm.
And the reason is they get in this uptick rule where you're not allowed to short them on the bid the next day. If you're
Yeah.
down more than 10% yesterday, it's harder to short that stock Not impossible, but especially for liquid securities, it's harder to short that stock today. So that's just one of those rules that's just like systemic to how the law is. And sometimes you can say, so there seems to be a slightly increased probability that a stock is down 10% the day before. If it continues lower a little bit, that you can then buy it. And you're playing. And so it's one of those things I have to pay attention, because if they ever change the rule, then it probably won't work the way it does before. But again, these are things that are very important to know about trading is the law and margin laws and things like this, because you can potentially take little
Yeah.
edges out of those.
Yeah,
Right?
exactly. Little edges there.
And that's not rocket science. I'm not the only one that does that. I know actually the reason I got it is because I was talking to other prop firms that I was chatting with, and one guy, and that's just what he does. He has a whole list of everything down 10% today and everything down 10% yesterday. And it's all he trades from the long side is those two names, because he knows it gets harder to short those. So if I can just make a list of doing that, then I'll look to trade them, and then from there develops his edge off that focus. So like I know he's looking at probably Lulu.
Wasn't
Yeah, he's
there?
definitely looking at Lulu today.
There was something I honestly like. I had forgotten about this until I saw somebody mention it. It was maybe 6, 7 years ago. There was some like 5 cent minimum rule where like they implemented. I think they pulled it out, but tickers were then trading for a small period of time. It was like a test program where they were like there
Yep.
was a 5 cent spread. Do you remember that?
Yep. Well,
Yeah.
back before, right now, do my old man shit, but back before there was pennies, they used to trade in. Well, first it used to be halves. So there was only two prices on a $10 stock. It was 10, it was 10 and a half, it was 11, 11 and a
Oh,
half, 12. And this is, well, you can go back. This is what Bernie Madoff did before this. What? Then it went to quarters. So it would be 10, 10.25, 10 and a half, 10.75. And then it went to teenies or 16ths,
that is
8ths and
quite the
16ths.
spread there, huh?
And then eventually, so yeah, there's a lot of people, and a lot of their trading was just, I'm going to buy this thing at 10 and a half. I'm going to look to flip it out at 11. And if I'm right more often than not, making a 50-cent spread, I'll do well. And that's how Bernie Madoff initially started to make, he made a bunch of money early. And then what happened is, as soon as they changed the rules and they went to pennies, a lot of day traders just left, because it was the lower the spread, the less profitable it was for them to trade. And that's how he started his scam and started his fraud. It wasn't just right off the bat. He didn't start out as a fraud. He actually made a bunch of money. But when the rules changed and everything changed, he ended up having to, instead of just admitting that, hey, I had an edge in the market, that edge is gone. Bear with me. I'm going to try to discover another one or learn another style. He played the game and scammed people instead. Oh, I see your thing. It's looking
Yeah, I
good
was trying to
here.
get another fill at 115, didn't quite get it. Good work though. Anybody who caught that up there, like 110-ish.
Yeah, the dollar in and of itself is an
Very
important.
significant level.
It's yeah,
Very
because
significant.
that's what you got to do to stay
Bid,
listed, right?
bid price roll, yeah.
If you lose that buck, you gotta do some shenanigans to stay listed on the Nasdaq.
Yeah. Like what? Come out with a Bitcoin treasury strategy.
Yeah,
Or
certainly
come out.
don't like sell things and make money from selling things. It will be
Yeah.
right, turn yourself into something
Oh,
weird.
well, interesting. And a few days ago, Sky Quarry fires their CEO for cause. Okay. Getting some hype around the
Oof.
firing of their CEO.
See, and it's funny. You read that news, and all of a sudden, right, you think that you're onto something, and
Yeah.
then you're not. Right? It's
Well, you see, I've seen it before where they
you know,
fire, in internals, and you get this kind of a move, or even like, oh, they've regained compliance for, they're extending that bid price rule, for this ticker, and then that causes us, you get a squeeze for anything these days on like Octo.
well, I always like to joke about. Let me grab this here. I always
Yeah.
like to joke about the Starbucks chart and how what of a gut punch this would be. Let's go to a weekly chart. We'll see it. Yeah, right here. this on Friday, this is where they fired their CEO, and it rocketed. And I think this was like 4
Yeah.
billion or 5 billion or something in market cap that was gained. And imagine you're applying for your next job. You're like, oh, I was the CEO of Starbucks. Like, well, that's impressive. It's like, yeah, when they fired me, the stock, everyone all of a sudden the next day thought Starbucks was worth
Yeah.
$10 billion more than the day before. That's got to be rough at a job interview. Just go, oh, sorry. They didn't, And then ever since then, it's still done. This thing's been a dog for sure.
I wonder what kind of like severance package he had. You know how many shares he had.
Oh,
And
you,
that's, hey, just wait till after I get fired so I can to liquidate my
yeah.
share. No,
You, yeah, you're the CEO for Starbucks for a while. I'm sure as long as he wasn't crazy with his money, I'm sure the dude's fine. The
yeah,
gut punch of it, though, of just I not only have zero value to this company, I have a negative value. Like
yeah.
that sucks.
All right, guys, flipping around. Let us know what you're trading. We got about 10 minutes left here. And there's an event today, right? In Discord at 12. It was that the CEO is going to be involved with. They're making some big announcements. So make sure you're there in the Discord today.
For what, this one? Sorry, what stock were you mentioning there?
Well, I was taking a look at RAPP again.
Oh, wow.
SKYQ. I'm just kicking back with this one. Yeah, SKYQ. I'm just kicking back here. This is, I mean, highest.
Oh, yes. Sorry, that's
trade.
what. Thank you, whoever typed in chat there. Yes, you were mentioning we have in our Discord room. You were mentioning, yeah, we've got.
Yeah. There's a big event going on there. 12
It's gonna
o'clock
be
today,
good.
guys.
Guys,
SKYQ. Let's go.
I'm now up 16 cents on my Octo position. My big swing there. Like, I almost
baby.
want to add a share here. Do I double up now that I'm up? Do I add another single share to Octo? And this includes it's going to be 75-cent commission on this one.
SKYQ dumping. Anybody else in the elevator move with me? Let's go, guys. Let's get this thing back down to like 85. I'll probably take a piece off 85 cents.
I'll post tomorrow. I'll share the P&L with you guys. I actually added a share. I'm now short 2 shares of Octo. So we're big now.
Sizing into your high conviction trade over there.
I have $80 short. So if it like 10x's from here, I'm in a little bit of trouble.
Yeah, GME back in the day, dude. I was scared. I mean, I had 10. All I had was 10 shares short on that thing at like $250. But I mean, still, that was a terrifying experience. That was after the 400 move, but I wrote it down to like 100. I think $100 with 10 shares.
This was my time to learn something about options, Mike. Where I was when it was up, around that 200. I bought puts. I bought a bunch of puts. I bought like 10 grand worth of puts, I think, at that time. And I'm like, listen, this is stupid, right? This is going to go back down. And I gave myself like 2 months on the puts. And my theory was when it collapsed, you own puts, you're going to make a bunch of money. And it did. So it was literally on, I think, one of these days right here. I can't remember. Right near the top. Nailed it. But I wasn't going to short shares because, like you mentioned, if it really went to $5,000 or something, you would have been wiped out. So I'm like, here, I'm taking this 10 grand. I'm putting it on puts. If I'm wrong and I lose 10 grand, I'll be mad. But, everyone in my house still eats. And then it collapsed and I made like 2 grand, I think, maybe. And I'm calling my buddy who's an option. He's like, no, let's have a little chat about a volatility crush. Because what happened was, right, as I'm paying, these options are so expensive because the volatility was so high that as the thing was collapsing, the volatility was collapsing as well. So I made it was certainly not worth the risk I took. And he's like, yeah, you should have called me beforehand. I would have told you not to do it. And then I actually bought it when it was around here, and I got pretty good on that second leg. I just bought the stocks. But yeah, it was one of those, that was my learn about options scenario, because he's like, yeah, I could have told you. He's like, if this thing goes to zero, you're only going to make a few bucks on the trade. And I'm like, oh, good. And flash forward years, and it's done nothing ever since. But yeah, that's why when everyone's like talking about trading options, I'm like, just make sure you understand that they're way more complicated than a lot of people think that they are. Like way more complicated than that.
Yeah, I haven't tried my hand there, but I hear of a lot of difficulties finding like edge with it.
It's yeah. Most people who make money options sell them. They don't buy them. Most like 90%.
Okay.
The problem is that they they have you have to be right on direction, you have to be right on time, you have to be right on volatility.
Yeah, the direction and
So
time.
if you're selling them, you just have to you don't need those, right? You only need to be right on if I'm selling a put, as long as the thing doesn't go down, I make money. It could go sideways, it could do nothing, it could do right. As long as it doesn't go down, I'll make money. So it becomes a completely different beast than buying the option where I have to be right on all these check boxes. So the problem with that is that most people don't like to sell options because what you're doing is you're uncapping your risk and you're capping your return in exchange for that high win rate. So it is something that I'm interested in playing with is the whole selling of, condors and butterflies and things like that to make money in neutral markets, hoping that my directional strategies, but it just has to be one thing added to just for everyone who's YOLO'd an option and made, 100,000% on it. There's like 10 more of them who haven't, right? And they just blow out. So look at this. NIHD, I saw you mention there. Holy smokes.
Grab your moon boots.
What, is this another fart coin treasury, or is this like a real company doing real things?
Oh, a real company doing real things. I would take the under on that.
It engages in the marketing sale of construction products. Nah, you don't. Not for a move like that. You know, what do you really do? Let me take a look here. Go to the streets.
They're really about to raise some money. I think is what they're about to do.
Yeah, we got QS moving there. Still. All right, this one's interesting. So this is the anchored view app from this prior high, and it's crazy how you just tap that and then just reverse like to the tick. This is why, again, shout out to my buddy Brian Shannon at Alpha Trends. He wrote the book quite literally on anchored view app. So
Yeah, that's a good looking chart right there. INHD pulling back in, guys, a bit off of that top there. RAPP has, oh my goodness, why didn't I trade RAPP? That one popped right up towards VWAP to give another entry, and still fading off of that. XAIR is real heavy, volume slowing down there. Likely gonna profit take here. So good work, anybody with XAIR, INHD. Which ticker? I just got out of SkyQ. That's sitting at 90 cents. So didn't get the second fill there, but I'll take it. It was a decent setup. Higher conviction trade. That dollar level, as Mr. Noss was saying, very, very important, which creates a very important level of resistance as well.
yeah.
INHD there. Yeah, go for it.
I think that's it's good chat. A lot of good chat today. I think that's more good one to take away is that right. Look for things that are not just numbers for the sake of numbers, but are structural in some way to the market. Right. There's some important reason that like a dollar again. It's not just a dollar. It's your ability to stay listed on the Nasdaq. So that should change. What you're looking at, change that game kind of entirely.
Yeah, a lot of good information here today. It was fun scratching that itch
Yeah,
But
and
yeah.
I appreciate you coming by and not leaving me hanging, so I didn't have to
Mhm.
just rant in people's ears forever. So I think this was way better. But while we're wrapping it up, do you have anything else to share with the people, or I'll just do one quick run around the market when you're done and call her.
Uh, yeah, I mean, I certainly always have something to say. Guys, I mean, it's all about trading. You gotta just minimize the bleeding. I mean, that's mainly what it's about. You hear preserve capital, patience. A lot of times less is more. Keep it simple, stupid. KISS. But there's a lot to it. You want to systemize it as much as possible. I think you saw it put into practice today how sometimes when we involve ourselves into some of these trades, you see it have a negative implication, on the bottom line performance. So it's about trying to eliminate yourself as much as possible. And again, it's that what's probably what I want on my tombstone one day is you're never going to make it. You're always making it. What can go on Michael's tombstone is the 2-day VWAP. I think you'd let me know. You never make it. You're always making it. So there's not going to be some
Mm,
finish line. There's not a finish line because I've seen the best traders lose it all in one trade after making years worth of progress. So you can be a great trader and absolutely one day where you shouldn't. Everybody's experienced this. If you haven't yet, you will, where you shouldn't step into the office that day and trade because of and usually it is some surrounding circumstance in your own life, that causes one to just not be in the right state of mind. Mark Douglas says you got to be in the flow state. So if you're not in the state of mind to trade, and I've done it, I'm like, I should not trade today. This morning has not been my morning. Like just kick back and then you take a max loss day because you're not defining risk like you should. So
mhm.
that's what I'd say. It's just getting that flow state and always stay focused on managing risk and not allowing one trade ever to define your trading journey. And that's why I'm so happy with Trade the Pull. Why it adds so much value to the trader because you can't really let one trade define you because of that max drawdown on the day. So if you were taking the OC Octo of the world today, you're not gonna blow up. They're gonna prevent you from doing that.
Yeah. No, and as someone who's in Octo right now, I'm glad all 2 shares. Maybe we'll get a 5 shares by the end of the day and go real crazy. But yeah, I just took a quick little rock around the horn there. The markets are up at highs; they're just hanging out. We got Bitcoin up at highs, hanging out. Remember, no economic numbers today, no economic numbers tomorrow. So as you go into lunch, I'm just even more than normal. Just be cautious of lunchtime and don't give back gains that you've had. So I appreciate again. Thank you very much, Kevin, for
Yeah,
popping by, and we'll chat soon
very
for
fun.
sure.
Likewise. Yep. Yep.